Now we take a look at multiplying fractions. In this session, or in this lesson, what we're going to look at is multiplying proper fractions, improper fractions, mixed numbers, and then we're going to multiply integers and fractions together. We start with multiplying proper fractions. This is probably one of the most straightforward fraction operations you have to deal with. I'm going to show you two different ways of approaching it. We're going to multiply the numerators together, the denominators together, and then whatever we get, we're going to reduce to the simplest form. But I'm going to show you a different method after that. Let's start with something like this. We start with 3 over 4 times 2 over 3. Let's start with something like that. So what we say is we multiply the numerators, so that is 3 times 2, and we multiply the denominators, which is 4 times 3. So what we have here, 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 3 is 12, and then we want to reduce the result to a simplest form. To do that, we want to reduce 6 over 12 to simplest form. They share a common factor of 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So that's the most straightforward way to do it. Now here's another approach. 3 over 4 multiplied by 2 over 3. So we look at the numbers in the numerator space and the numbers in the denominator space and see if we can find common factors. So one simple one here is you have 3 here and you have 3 here. So they have common factor of 3. So that's 1, that's 1. Then you have 2 and 4. 4 is a multiple of 2. So that means 2 divided by 2, 1. 4 divided by 2, 2. Now that we have simplified them in their current state, we can just multiply what we have. So 1 times 1 gives us 1. 2 times 1 gives us 2. So either of these approaches will be fine. Just decide which one you prefer and then go with it. Let's look at some more examples. Let's look at 15 over 16 multiplied by 3 over 5. So we'll start with the first method. The first method says we multiply 15 and 3, and then we multiply 16 and 5. So this is going to give us 45 over 80. Now, because of this, the digit it ends with, you can see that we can divide by 5 in both instances. 45 divided by 5 gives you a 9. 80 divided by 5 gives you a 16. Now let's see if we can use the other approach. So 15 over 16 times 3 over 5. So we look in the numerator space and the denominator space. What can we find? We can find that 15 is a multiple of 5. So we divide by 5. And so what we have now is 3 times 3 over 16 times 1. So this is going to give us 9 over 16. So regardless of what approach you use, you're going to always end up at the same spot if you've done it right the first time. Next, we're going to look at multiplying improper fractions. So we're going to multiply, same method. The only thing that changes here is we will convert this back to, actually we'll convert this to a mixed number when we're done. So let's get started with this. 25 over 2 multiplied by 7 over 5. So first approach is we multiply the numerators together and then we multiply the denominators together. So 25 times 7, that gives us 175. 2 times 5 gives us 10. So we can see here, because the numbers end with 5 and 0, that 5 is a common factor. 175 divided by 5, we have 35 there, and we have 2. So 35 divided by 2, so let's do that. The simplest way to look at converting from improper to mixed, just treat it as a division. So what we're going to have here is 35, 2. So we have 1, 2, 15, 7, 14, 1. So this is going to give us 17 with a remainder of 1, and we're always dividing by 2. So let's try the second approach. 25 over 2 multiplied by 7 over 5. So we're going to look at the set of numbers in the numerator and set of numbers in the denominator and see if we can find some factor relationships. If you look, 2 and 7, nothing there. 5 and 25, we can find one right there. So this is going to give us 5 times 7 over 2 times 1, which is 35 over 2, which gives us 17 and a half. So that's the simpler example. Now we're going to look at more complex examples. So let's look at 8 over 7 multiplied by 21 over 17. Same method applies. 8 by 21, 7 by 17. Now, here is where we can actually apply both methods at the same time. So if you look at this right here, you look at 7, you look at 21, you look at 8, you look at 17. You can try to see if this is a lot easier to discover here, you can start to see them here. So you can see 8 and 17 have no relationship. 8 and 7 don't. But look at 7 and 21. 7 here, this is 3. So this is going to give us 8 times 3, 24 over 17. When we divide 24 by 17, this happens only one time, and we have a remainder of 7. So that's it. So if you see, we can actually apply the two different methods I've been showing you in the last few examples. You can apply them together. Now, final example with this type of multiplication, we're going to just take a quick look at 35 over 24 multiplied by 22 over 7. So, custom practice is multiply numerators together and then multiply denominators together. So now we're going to look at establishing factor relationships between numbers in the numerator space and the denominator space. So we can see 22 and 24, they have common factor of 2 because they're even numbers. 35 and 7, 7 here, this gives us 5. So now we end up with 5 times 11 over 12 times 1. So 5 times 11, 55 over 12. So 55 divided by 12, that happens 4 times, which gives us 48. And then 55 minus 48 gives you 7. And your divisor is 12. Now we're going to look at mixed numbers. We're going to multiply mixed numbers. There is no easy way of just looking at mixed numbers and thinking you can multiply the integers together and the fractions together. That never works. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to first convert the mixed numbers to improper fractions, because you need a numerator-denominator set for your multiplication to make sense. So let's take a look at some numbers here. 2½ multiplied by 3 2/3. So what we're saying here is we're going to first convert each of these mixed numbers to improper fractions. So if you're confused about doing this, there's a chapter or a lecture above this that covers it in this same section. So we're going to do 2 multiplied by 2, which is going to give us 4, and then we add 1 to that, so that's 5 over 2 multiplied by 3 times 3, 9, and then we add the 2 here, which gives us 11 over 3. So now that we have this, we just multiply numerator together. 5 times 11 divided by 2 times 3. So this is going to give us 55 over 6. So we divide 55 by 6. That happens 9 times with a remainder of 1, and we're dividing by 6. Another one here. 4 2/3 multiplied by 2 1/3. First step, we're going to convert to improper fraction. 4 times 3, 12 plus 2. That gives us 14 over 3 times 2 times 3, 6 plus 1, 7 over 3. So we're going to have 14 times 7 over 3 times 3. This is going to give us 98 over 9. And when we divide, we should get 10 8 over 9. Some more examples. So we're going to look at 16, 1 over 3 times 4, 2 over 7. So what we're going to do here is convert to improper fraction. 16 times 3, 48 plus 1, that's 49 over 3 times 4 times 7 is 28 plus 2. We have 30 over 7. So now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply numerators together and denominators together. We're going to look to see if we can establish some factor relationships. We got 49 and 7, we got 3 and 30. So let's see which one can we do. Okay, so 3 here, and then we got 10 here, and then we got 1 right here, and then we got 7. So this ends up becoming 7 times 10 divided by 1 times 1, which is just 70. One last example of this type. So we're going to look at 6/3 multiplied by 2/3/11. So we're going to look at making this into an improper fraction. So let's do that. 6 times 5, 30, plus 3. We got 33/5 multiplied by 2 times 11, 22, plus 3, 25/11. So we're going to multiply numerators together. 33 times 25 divided by 5 times 11. So we can see here common factor here. So now we end up with 3 times 5 over 1 times 1, which just simply gives us 15. Now, the last step we're going to deal with is multiplying fractions and integers together. I will do one example with a proper fraction and one example with a mixed number. So let's start off with the ones with a proper fraction. Okay, so if I had something like 3 times 2/7. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite 3 as an improper fraction with a denominator of 1. So simply put, we're going to just say 3/1, and then we multiply by 2/7. So then we follow all our other multiplication steps. 3 times 2, that gives us 6. 7 times 1, that gives us 7. So that's that. Now, if we had something that looked like this, 2 multiplied by 4, 8/9. So what we're going to do here is we're going to convert this one to a mixed improper fraction with a denominator of 1. So that is 2/1, and then of course we will convert this to an improper fraction. 4 times 9, 36, plus 8, that gives us 44/9. So we follow the next steps. 2 times 44/9. So this is going to give us 88/9. 88 divided by 9, I think that would happen. So if you look at your multiplication tables or your multiplication facts, 9 times 9 is 81, 9 times 10 is 90. So you're going to select the lower number. So this is 9, and then 88 minus 81, that gives you 7/9. So these are all that you really need to know about multiplying fractions.